The NDDC 2025 Budget Conference held under the theme Partnership for Sustainable Development brought together policymakers, development experts, private sector leaders, and government officials from across Nigeria. The goal is to chart a practical and people-oriented development path for the region. The conference was held in Port Harcourt, Rivers State.
The PAMSEC Regional Development, the chairman of the governing board of the NDDC, other board members that are here, the executive directors that are also here. I'm aware the National Assembly members are also around and they're just about entering the hall. So in absentia, let me also recognize them. The chairman of the Senate Committee on NDDC and his entourage. Traditional rulers, stakeholders from the Niger Delta, I want to officially welcome all of you to the PSD 2025. Indeed, stakeholders' engagement is what brings about results in every society. No man alone can plan for a people. The people have to come together to plan collectively for them to succeed. In that note, the NDDC decided to come up with the PSD Budget Conference, of which for a long time we never had PSD. But under this present administration, we had a PSD last year for our 2024 budget. And here again, we're here for another PSD for the 2025 budget. For us, it is customary because we believe we cannot sit down in Port Harcourt and appropriate for the people of the Niger Delta. The people of the Niger Delta must make input in their budget. And in making that input, because these projects and programs are aimed at benefiting the people of the Niger Delta. May I officially just welcome the chairman of the Senate Committee on NDDC, Senator Ekpeyong Asukwo. You're welcome, sir. So, the budget is for the people of the Niger Delta. It's not for any individual. Hence, we have to come together to plan our budget. We initiated this PSD, but before we're gathering here today, we had to set up budget committees where we had to ensure that the state government was also involved, the IOCs were also involved, to ensure that most of these projects that are going to be in the budget are projects that are being conceived by stakeholders. We have had situations in the past where we have problems with state governments where probably we had duplication of projects. So, and because of that, we thought it was very, very necessary for us to have this kind of partnership where state governments will also make inputs on the budget, and any area where we're having conflict, those conflicts will be addressed before the budget is passed. The NDDC is not a government. The NDDC is only made to complement what the state governments are doing. So because we are playing that complementary role as an interventionist agency, we thought all these processes are very, very necessary and important. And I want to use the opportunity to thank the state governments for sending their high-powered delegations to be part of this PSD. That there is a genuine partnership between the NDDC and the state governments. For us, most of the projects we have embarked on within this period, they are born out of needs assessment. Needs assessment must be carried out to ensure that these projects reflect the needs of the people. Now, we cannot sit down here and assume what the needs of the people could be. And to tell you the success of some of the needs assessment we've carried out, we have realized by part of our needs assessment that at a point in time, the entire Niger Delta was very, very dark. That promoted criminality in the region, hence we came up with the Operation Light Up the Niger Delta. The Operation Light Up the Niger Delta is a successful program of the NDDC that has illuminated most of our communities, that have chased away criminals from our communities, and most of our communities today, the commercial life of those communities are better. Even most of the children that live in those communities where there is no light, they read under those solar lights that have been provided by the NDDC. We're not only looking at only providing the solar light as street lights. That was just the first step. NDDC is also gravitating towards looking at providing mini grids, which will be more sustainable to also improve commerce in these communities, where small and medium-scale enterprises can also boom in those communities. Because our target is to ensure that we also halt the urban migration, where people can stay in their communities, do their businesses, and still make money. And not because they lack certain social amenities, they want to leave the communities and migrate to the urban areas, where they have to pay expensive house rents. Now, under the needs assessment, we came up with the issue of water. We realized that most of our communities do not also have potable water. So right now, we're also about taking water to almost every community in the Niger Delta. But in taking this water to communities in the Niger Delta, we realized that in the past, NDDC have done borehole water, some of them solar boreholes. So we are looking at a more sustainable approach to ensure that these projects are also sustainable in these communities, where it will not be of too much burden to these communities. Because sometimes you provide generators, the communities may not also be able to fuel them. So there are so many challenges, and these are the structures we are putting together to ensure that, yes, whatever we're doing in this process, they are sustainable. Even the solar street light which we provided, they are about 2 years old now. We are now putting, based on the warranty we have, we are now also putting together maintenance contract to see how they can be maintained. But I want to use the opportunity to plead to stakeholders that these properties belong to you. Some of them have been vandalized. Please take care of them, because they belong to you and they will help you. Now, also in education, in order to ensure that we support these children that are also schooling, we realize that the only way we can support them is through the youth corpers. Because most times corpers are posted to our communities to ensure that they support the children to teach them. But most of these corpers, once they are posted to the communities, they find their way out of those places. One, because there is no good accommodation for them to live. Hence, the NDDC came up with the idea of building corpers lodges. We have built 5-star corpers lodges in some of our communities that today there is no corper that will be posted to those places that want to live. I believe some of you must have seen some of those pictures. They are real. These are born out of needs assessment. So we're not just carrying out projects because we want to build projects for people to see. We want projects that can impact on the society. That is what the new NDDC is doing at this point. And in achieving all this, we also try to build partnership. Building partnership with private sector, building partnership with even the state governments. We want our state governments and even those in the private sector to take advantage of our partnerships. Right now, one of the most successful partnerships we've been able to build that is working right now is a partnership between the NDDC and NLNG. That partnership is going to give birth to some big projects that are legacy projects, projects that were agreed jointly to construct. Most of these projects are projects that were abandoned over so many years, but we have agreed, and some of these projects are ongoing right now. At least the River State government rep can confess that at least the Kaataba Bridge is ongoing right now, if you've seen it. And that bridge is about 1.2 kilometers long, linking Gokana to Andoni local government. And it's going to be the 5th longest bridge in this country based on our research. And that bridge, we intend completing it by the ending of this year. It's a project that was abandoned long ago. That is part of the partnership between NDDC and NLNG. Partnership works. In that same partnership, we're also undertaking the Borokri Okrika Road bridge was also awarded in 2012 and was abandoned thereafter, and we have also agreed that we're going to complete it. So many projects we have in the list of that partnership. All the projects in the list of that partnership, all the projects have been mobilized. The contractors have gone back to site, and I can assure you that those projects are going to be completed according to Mr. President's directive that all abandoned projects that are legacy projects must be completed by this board, and we're working towards that. And in trying to achieve that, to look at every means of which you can use to achieve that, both through partnership or the one that is being directly funded by the NDDC. So we want to achieve results. So we are also here again telling our state governments, stakeholders, that we are open for any form of partnership that will bring results, that will create impact in the Niger Delta for the benefit of the people of the Niger Delta. Let us take advantage of that. Right now, we're doing some partnership with some state governments, like the partnership we are doing in Imo State with Imo State government, trying to ensure that we take road to the Oaji Ebema area, which is the oil producing area in Imo State. That is a partnership between the NDDC and the Imo State government. Right now, I can assure you that on the part of the NDDC, our commitment, we have been able to fulfill it 100%. Unfortunately, there's going to be a small variation because as at when that contract was awarded, price of things have changed. But we're still in discussion with the Imo State government to see how we can really complete that project. Imo State government have also approached the NDDC to see how the NDDC and the Imo State government can take over the Port Harcourt Owerri Road, which was being constructed by the Ministry of Niger Delta under the Arab contractors, to see how we can take it over and jointly complete that road, dualize it for the benefit of the people of the Niger Delta. The benefit of that road is that that road is going to make the link between Asaba to Port Harcourt very, very short. It's going to create an alternative route for those who do not want to go through Benin, or for those, if you're going to Abuja, it makes it shorter, because from Asaba to Owerri to Port Harcourt will be very, very short. It links the region, because this time around we are trying to take up very, very giant projects that we believe will also help in benefiting the region economically, because these roads are the roads that make life easier for our people. Movement of goods around the region should be easy. That is what is going to make the price of goods also very, very cheap. So we are looking at an intervention that is going to be all round, all encompassing, so that at least the people of the Niger Delta will benefit. We are not only looking at the 1 kilometer roads that are being constructed in communities, or the borehole, or the solar light. There are so many things we are trying to do. We are not only looking at building the hospitals, but everything we want to do, we want to ensure that they are all sustainable. In building hospitals right now, the Port Harcourt Cardiovascular and Orthopedic Hospital, which NDDC started and abandoned, and the one in Ecom, these are two orthopedic and cardiovascular hospitals. Those two projects are also part of the partnership with the NLNG, which is also ongoing right now. But right now, we are looking at sustainability. The sustainability we are looking at is not just building the hospitals, because we have built hospitals before in the past, by our records in NDDC. Some of them were given to state governments, but some of those hospitals, they are also not really staffed. So we are now rather look at what is the most sustainable way of maintaining these hospitals after building. So we're also looking at partnership with private sector. So when we complete those hospitals, they are actually going to be run by private sector operations, not giving it to, because we cannot run hospitals. So that let the equipment and everything we are going to do in that place serve the people of the Niger Delta. All what we look at is sustainability. We're not just looking at just building infrastructures and facilities for them to be wasted tomorrow, and because maybe they are not properly used, then people vandalize them. So we're looking at sustainability. So I've told you about our needs assessment and the need for partnership, but above all, stakeholders' engagement is very, very important. Beyond the PSD we're doing, last year we had our Niger Delta Stakeholders Summit. And the Niger Delta Stakeholders Summit actually gave us eye-openers on so many things that we're supposed to do in the Niger Delta. For us as a board and management, We are open to learn from our mistakes. We are open to listen to our people because we believe it must be collective responsibility. As we are working towards our 25 years anniversary of the NDDC, 25 years is not a small feat. 25 years is so much for any organization. In these 25 years, we know that yes, we have made mistakes, we have learned. We that are on the saddle, we accept the burden of failure and mistake of previous administration. We're not running away from it because NDDC is NDDC. And that is why we are willing to make those changes. So when we say we are transiting from transaction to transformation, we mean it because we have already seen the past, we have seen the present, and we should be able to navigate where our future should be. And we have seen that it is the responsibility of this board and management, based on Mr. President's directive, to ensure that we take NDDC to a safe shore. We take NDDC to where the people of the Niger Delta want NDDC to be. And we believe NDDC, being our common patrimony, being the pride of the people of the Niger Delta, we also need that support from you people. It is not casting aspersion when we make mistakes. When we make mistakes, call us, advise us. We are humans. We are not perfectionists. If you're looking for perfectionists, probably you wouldn't have selected any of us. We have faults too. So we are here using this opportunity, begging stakeholders that every time clamoring for change of management, these people have failed, is part of the reasons why we have all these abandoned projects in the NDDC. When you talk about seventh governing board, that means for the life of NDDC, you're supposed to have 7 managing directors. But you imagine, from 2015 till date, I'm the number 9 MD of NDDC. That is to tell you the level of instability in NDDC. So if you don't allow the board to complete its tenure, to give account for what they did in their 4 years, after 1 year, 2 years, you remove them, other people come, this PSD we have done, other people do another PSD, bring up new projects, abandon the other projects. Those are the reasons why we have abandoned projects littered all over the place. We must know this. So when people say this, people shouldn't just think that maybe people took over NDDC just because they deliberately wanted to abandon projects. And the more you abandon these projects, you know that the more demurrage is taking place on equipments that are on the site, the more those projects are also losing value because variation will come in at the end of the day. It is the people of the Niger Delta that will be at loss. For example, the Ogbianembe Road, which the NDDC did in partnership with SPDC, and with the support of Bayelsa State government to provide security and everything. That project was completed on record time. As at when that project was completed, the project was completed on record time. We only just paid a little when we came in to make sure everything was done the way it was supposed to be. If that project were not to be done through partnership for it to complete on record time, probably by today we would have had a variation of 200 billion on that project. For example, the Okrika-Burukri Road and Bridge was awarded in 2012 at a cost of 12.5 billion. But today, you are talking about a variation of almost 60 billion. So it is tantamount to waste. So let us not keep wasting our money, because any money that is being wasted, it is something that we are denying the future generation. Let them get value for whatever we are doing. So we are using this opportunity to call up on all of you to ensure that let us be united. Let us be focused. Let us work together. That is why we are all seated here in this room. To put heads together, come up with something that we'll all be proud of. Something that you can say, yes, I was part of this. And whatever that is being thrown up to us here, we are here to implement it because that is what you chose to do. And because that is what you have chosen to do, we are going to implement it. We are here as your servants. We're here managing our common patrimony. So we're here to listen to you. We'll take our seat, listen to you, get your contributions, get your inputs. Even the IOCs, we're trying to ensure that we build better working relationship with them, because the IOCs have also complained in the past that NDDC never used to implement projects in their areas of operations. But we have also tried to correct that to ensure that they are also benefiting from this agency because they are also stakeholders. So bringing all the stakeholders together is our interest to ensure that we have a united Niger Delta that will develop the Niger Delta, grow agricultural food for the Niger Delta. Let us eat what we grow and let us be proud of whatever we do and not looking outward to assume that it is better out there. With the United Niger Delta, I can assure you that we can actually be the pillar of this nation. Not only economically, because we provide the economic crude oil that supports the economy of this country, but beyond that, intellectually, we can also be looked upon. Every other area, we have the manpower. We're not lacking anything in the Niger Delta, but what we need is unity. Coming together, our unity in diversity is our strength. We have various languages, we have various ethnic nationalities in the Niger Delta, but the Lord knows why He brought all of us together. As much as we have different tongues, what have united us is our common challenge. Our common challenge.
The Chairman, Senate Committee on NDDC, other distinguished senators here present, representatives of governors here, traditional rulers, the board and management of NDDC, critical stakeholders, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of all the governors of member states, we want to thank the management of NDDC for this very wonderful stakeholder engagement. The whole essence of governance is synergy. There is no competition amongst different critical organs of government, but rather to complement one another to achieve that which everyone is fighting for, a good life for all the people in the region. Now, having said that, this is a wonderful session that I think would complement the works of government in the various states. The MD has alluded to the fact that before now, we've had issues of duplication of, and that is what this is intended to, I think, bridging. But in your letter, there was something that actually caught my attention when I read that we've already gone through the budget cycle. And I was wondering if we have gone through the budget cycle, why are we here? But I think it's completely different from what I'm hearing today. I think that it's a good one. When we'll get properly into the sessions, we'll be able to look at the documents and then make our inputs. But the most important thing is to thank all of you for putting off this kind of gathering to bring all stakeholders together to achieving a common objective. Thank you so much. And be rest assured that in terms of partnership, every single state is very open and ready, and we look forward to strengthening that. Thank you so much.
The representatives of the state government, particularly the secretaries to the Rivers and Bayelsa state government, Cross River as well, our distinguished senators, led by Senate Committee Chairman, Your Majesties, the Permanent Secretary of our Supervisory Ministry, my colleagues on the board, our very distinguished stakeholders, management of NDDC, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, let me thank each and every one of you for joining us here today at this PSD budget conference. Budgeting is a very important aspect of both private and public sector organizations. It's crucial because that is where everything starts from. If you don't get your budgeting right, you're not going to get your project delivery or service delivery right. You're not going to get your accountability right. You're not going to get your economic management. And so we take budgeting very seriously here. But we can't do it without your input. And so it's good to see that we have a wide array of stakeholders here with us today to join us this exercise. Now, with this budget, we can then begin to do the things that we need to do in terms of delivering the project and also in terms of ensuring that the stakeholders benefit the essence for establishing NDDC. As for the 7th Governing Board, we have tried very hard to ensure that we continue to conduct ourselves in the right manner. The law is clear in terms of the functions of everybody. And so we start with ourselves by ensuring that governance is key for us. Governance in the sense that we carry out our duties in accordance with how the law has been established. You have the management and you have the board. But one key area for us has also been the partnerships and ensuring that the right governance structure has been put in place. We worked very closely with KPMG, which is one of the most recognized consulting brands in the world today. And what have we done? We've been able to establish a governance structure for NDDC. So it means that starting from the top, from the very top, from the 7th Governing Board, through management, senior executive management, and all the way down, we have the right governance structure in place. The presentation was made to us at our last board meeting. We reviewed it and we approved it. Implementation is ongoing. And so, with working with KPMG, we do hope that at the end of the day, once this right governance structure is in place, then it improves everything that we have to do as the management and also the board supervising the management. For our stakeholders, we can't thank you enough. The MD touched on something. He even said in 10 years, in 8 years, we had 9 chief executives. There is no organization that can excel when you have a high turnover of staff, of management. It's none. None. And so in response to what our dear Royal Father talked about when he talked about abandoned projects, if in 8 years you had 9 chief executives, what do you expect? Everybody that comes in with his own agenda. Everybody that comes in with his own plan. And so when you come in, if you're there for 6 months, you come in and if you're in the military, you're shooting rapid fire. You don't care what happens because you know that your time is short. But once there's sustainability, and it's not because we're there now, because we're now paying the price for what happened in the past when you had a high turnover of management. But we appeal to everyone to please work with us. Please support us. Today, there are probably about 5 litigations or 5 court cases in court, either trying to take out the MD or to take out the chairman by saying that we're not competent or capable to occupy those positions. And those are just for selfish reasons. If we have stability, you can see that there's sincerity of purpose in this board. We will continue to do what we need to do. We'll continue to put in our best, and we hope that at the end of the day, we'll be able to deliver. Once again, I thank you all for your time.
By pooling resources, expertise, and vision, we can achieve goals that will otherwise be unattainable. And the key focus areas in this budget are 1, sustainable development. Our budget prioritizes initiatives driving economic growth, environmental sustainability, and social progress. 2, infrastructure development. We will invest in critical infrastructure projects, enhance transportation networks, healthcare facilities, and educational institutions. 3, economic empowerment. Initiatives will focus on entrepreneurship, vocational training, capacity building programs to boost economic resilience in the Niger Delta region. We commend the various state budget committees ably chaired by their various state representatives for their firm commitment to adhere to the stipulated guidelines and review of their various projects. We also observed from our analysis of the submitted budgets from the various states that the rates used in the proposed new projects are not in sync with current realities. It is my expectation that the syndicate sessions will do due diligence to these and come up with realistic figures for our collective gains. We are aware of the aspirations and expectations of people of the region as it concerns the 2025 budget. However, it is important to state that the 2025 budget may not be able to solve all our expectations, as development at this stage can only be achieved incrementally. I urge all stakeholders to actively engage in the budgeting process, share insights and expertise to drive progress for us as a people. Together, we can harness our collective strengths and resources to build a prosperous Niger Delta region. Let's work collaboratively to adopt a budget that reflects our shared vision and aspirations. MDSA and the management committee here, these presentations will be incomplete without once again commending the patriotic resolve of the 2025 Management Budget Committee in their effort that this draft document is ready. It is with great pleasure, therefore, that I lay before the MDCC and management the 2025 budget proposals of the Niger Delta Development Commission, themed Budget of Consolidation, for onward distribution to the syndicate groups for delegation and adoption. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Distinguished Senator Patrick Ndubueze, Distinguished Senator Austin Akubodu, the Chairman of the Governing Board, MD, the representative of the Minister, our Royal Fathers, the Secretaries to the various state governments that are here present, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to join you today at this important gathering, the Partners for Sustainable Development Forum 2025. Let me begin by commending the Ministry of Regional Development, led by the workaholic Minister, Right Honorable Abubakar Momo, as well as the leadership of the NDDC for bringing together all the major stakeholders in our region for this important dialogue. Addressing the challenges inherent in the region requires coordinated efforts to ensure that the NDDC remains an effective interventionist agency. It is important to note that both the federal government, led by His Excellency, President Bola Tinubu, and the leadership of the 10th Assembly, chaired by His Excellency, Senator Godswill Obodo-Akpabio, remain firmly committed to this mission. Under the leadership of President Tinubu, the Renewed Hope Agenda places a strong emphasis on inclusive infrastructural growth and environmental sustainability, priorities that the 10th Assembly fully aligns with. We are committed to ensuring that the 2025 budget reflects the needs and aspirations of the region. The issues that have mitigated the growth of the region are being curbed. This current board and management of NDDC is working effectively, and I would say efficiently, with both houses, that is the House of Representatives and the Senate, to continue to appropriate the resources required to intervene effectively in the region. When the managing director was speaking, he made mention of the fact that from 2015 to date, there have been 9 MDs. But just to put that into context, let me correct that. Over the years 2015 to about December 2022, that's when there have been 9 MDs, or early 2023. I was correct, right? December 2022. So you see that means when you say 2015 today, that's 10 years. The truth is, over the 7-year period from 2015 to 2022, there were 9 MDs. Now, if you take that into context, it means that most of those MDs served less than a year. We all know what the construction calendar looks like in the Niger Delta region. You probably have 4 months of dry season for construction. So you see that over those years, there were a lot of projects that may have been started, maybe got to a level of 40%. The board and management were changed. A new MD comes in with new priorities, and those projects are abandoned. What we have now is a stable NDDC, one that is focused, it knows its tenor, and is working to achieve those things. But if you notice over the last year or 2 years, the NDDC has looked backwards to legacy projects that may have been started by different boards and management, and they have sought to close that last mile, to bridge that last mile gap. And that is what it has been consistently doing across the Niger Delta region. Over the last year, there have been several commissioning of projects that may not have been started by them, but they were closed out by this board and management. I want to say kudos to the board and management for that. Where I come from in Cross River State, there was a major project that was started by the NDDC several years ago. The Adiabo Esekuru. Coincidentally, the secretary to the state government is here. And I think about a year ago, the state government wrote to the NDDC requesting that that project be returned back to the state because they understand the need of the people. And so they started. The state government, under the leadership of our governor, His Excellency Senator Prince Bassey Ededutu, has started that road. And he has done exceedingly well. He just cut the travel journey time connecting Akwa Ibom and Cross River State. But that job is a very big job. And so at some point last year, I went back to him and I said, I think that the NDDC can also partner with the state government to ensure that that road is done. And the NDDC looked into it and they appropriated for it. And that was passed alongside the 2024 budget. So that's something that I know that the state government is looking to come back to the NDDC. And that falls under the region of the partnership the MD was talking about. Everyone in this room is a partner and a stakeholder in the region. So this budgeting process is very important. If there are ventures or partnerships in terms of infrastructure or developmental programs that you can bring to the table, I know that the NDDC is willing and able to partner with you. And us in the National Assembly will ensure that we appropriate appropriately. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Senate Committee on the NDDC, I assure you that we will continue to work closely with the board and management of the NDDC to ensure thorough legislative oversight over all the Commission's activities. I commend the NDDC for all the hard work and successes it recorded over the past year, and I look forward to collaboration that will yield even more positive impact in the year ahead. May God bless the Niger Delta region. May God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
The representatives of all our Niger Delta governors here present, let me recognize all of you and very specially recognize the Secretary to Government of Rivers State, Professor Ibibe Lucky Worika. You're welcome. The Finance Secretary of our Ministry, the Ministry of Regional Development, here present. You're welcome, ma. Chairman, the Chairman of the Governing Board of the 7th Niger Delta Governing Board, Barrister Chedu Ebie, the Transformational Managing Director and Chief Executive of NDDC, Chief Dr. Samuel Buku, my colleague, Executive Director of Corporate Services, my friends and brothers in the 7th Governing Board, especially my sisters
I can see them seated afar. The representative from Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Environment. You're welcome, ma. It's been a while. You're welcome to this section. Management staff of NDDC, directors here present, our partners, and very, very specially, let me record, you know I'm a royal father too, so let me recognize my primary constituency. The traditional rulers, I want to welcome you to this section of our budget conference. You're welcome, and we believe that your input will be of great importance to us when we commence the nitty-gritty of why we're here. Ladies and gentlemen, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen that have come to join us today, gentlemen of the press, you're all welcome. Epoch-making occasion, which is our budget conference 2025. We warmly appreciate your presence at this NDDC 2025 budget conference, which we have christened Budget of Consolidation 2025. You will recall that from the inauguration of this 7th governing board of the Commission, we imbibed a mantra to reshape the image of the NDDC from transaction to a transformational agency, an initiative that aligns with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This philosophy, as you know, heralded an era of positive review to the organizational structure of the institution, a change of perception from the people of the Niger Delta about the Commission, and most importantly, a part of job well done and commendation from Mr. President himself. In furtherance of this resolve, the board and management has ensured that the Commission will always conduct her business in a manner that speaks transparency to every indigene of the region. Hence, our drive to produce a stakeholder formulated document for the NDDC as our Appropriation Act for financial year 2025. The 2025 projected revenue to undertake our capital and recurrent obligations stands at 1.75 trillion naira, indicating a small sum lower by 157 billion or 8% from the 2024 budget estimate. This envelope is made up of 752.8 billion projected to be earned from oil and gas companies, while the remainder will come from federal government allocation. The strategic goals and objectives set out for the implementation of this budget is centered on delivery of legacy projects and programs through the instrumentality of public-private partnership and other robust engagement with developmental partners within and outside the shores of the Niger Delta. Suffice it to mention that the Commission's focus in 2025 fiscal year is centered on injecting and prioritizing resources on performing ongoing projects, execution of quick impact interventions, amongst other deliverables. As we'll deliberate, you are welcome to make your mark in the developmental strides of making laudable difference in Niger Delta region within the last 25 years. Let me crave your indulgence to also mention that this year's budget is very key and important to us because it's part of the process that will enable us transform from the last 25 years to the next 25 years and beyond. As you all know, and remember, you can remember, 2025 is the 25th anniversary of the establishment and creation of the Niger Delta Development Commission. On this 12th of July, 2025, precisely, we will be celebrating our 25th anniversary. So I enjoin all of us to prepare ourselves as we move towards the celebration of our 25th anniversary. Thank you, and God bless you.
Ministry of Solid Minerals Development in Nigeria. Please let's put our hands together as we welcome our keynote speaker, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Regional Development, Dr. Mary A. Obe.
The Chairman Senate Committee on NDDC and all members of the National Assembly here present, representatives of the governors of the region, distinguished Chairman of NDDC, Chairman Governing Board NDDC, the Managing Director NDDC, and every member of the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission, state commissioners for budgets and economic planning and line ministries, permanent secretaries here present, development partners, critical stakeholders, management committee and directors of the NDDC, paramount rulers and our royal fathers, civil society organizations, youth and women groups, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I must say that sitting there and listening to the managing director, it looks like he has taken a lot of the words out of my mouth, but I still have to make my keynote speech, so I crave your indulgence to please listen to me. It is with deep appreciation and a sense of shared purpose that I stand before you today to address the forum of critical stakeholders in the preparation of the draft 2025 budget for the Niger Delta Development Commission. My understanding is that the theme for this conference is NDDC 2025 Conference and Partners for Sustainable Development Forum, and that the conference presents an atmosphere towards achieving effective budgeting system for the NDDC in line with the renewed hope agenda of the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR. As members of a regional development commission, you do not merely oversee budgets, you shape destinies. If you were not seeing yourself as such before now, I plead with you to begin to see yourselves as the custodians of your region's growth, guardians of its resources, and the architects of its future. Let me state that we gather at a critical juncture, not only as pertaining to this region's development journeys, but in the shared history of our national development and its people. We meet in the shadow of urgent global challenges: climate change, inequality, poverty, and the depletion of natural resources, declining traditional sources for development financing, and yet we also gather in the light of opportunities. The opportunity to transform how we think about growth, how we govern resources, and how we build a better and a more resilient and more vibrant region for future generations. At the heart of this transformation
the Senate Committee on NDDC, the chairman of the Governing Council of NDDC, our former Secretary to Government, we normally called him at that time the Computer SSG. The MDA of NDDC and all board members, my royal colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're taught in the military that if you are caught by chance, do something. That's the only way you can survive. If you sit down, if you don't do anything, you'll be killed. I was just sitting down here. The moderator told me that after the MD, I will speak. Nobody told me that I was supposed to give a goodwill message, but I tried to recollect what we were told. It is better to do something than not doing anything. I want, on behalf of all traditional rulers, especially members of TROPCOM, Association of Traditional Rulers of Oil Producing Communities of Nigeria. Our association is not only made of traditional rulers from Niger Delta. If today oil is discussed in Kaduna, they are members of us, because somehow the government will take off them. So they are also welcome. I want to sincerely thank the MD for his vision. You see, when people go into position, if you don't have a plan, before you go to that position, you will fail. That is why most governors, ministers have failed. From what we have seen from our MD, he had plans before he assumed that position. So we are happy with you that you are doing very well. That you had a plan. I will believe in your board, will believe in your management, that you will move NDDC to the next level. And we are happy of this, our involvement in the budget planning for 2025. We, the traditional rulers, have more at stake than politicians, because we are there. We see the problem of our people. We see their suffering. Most of them, they cannot come to Port Harcourt here. They cannot come to Asaba. They cannot come to Abuja. Where they had problem is the traditional ruler they come to. We see their suffering. So we're happy with the plan. But what I want to advise you, MD and the management of the board, is that there are too many projects that are abandoned. Some of them are being taken over today by governors. I know 2 projects in my kingdom that our governor, Right Honorable Sheriff, has completed. One of them was awarded 2012. It was abandoned. And because the road was so important, I had to talk to the governor, and within 1 year, that road had been completed. And there are 2 like that. And there are many that are abandoned. And I know there are many of such roads, such abandoned projects in our various kingdoms. And we are concerned. So I'm happy that your budget is not only new project, but we are going to complete all abandoned projects. For this, we are happy. Another thing I'm happy in your speech is that in the past, when you complete a project, you just leave it there. It's not handed over to anybody. For instance, like solar power. You complete it, and you're left over the community. Nobody's going to hand it over. You're going to maintain it. Not the local government or the state. But we even know that those of us who use solar for our houses, those solar projects have to be maintained every time. If you don't maintain them, that is why you have a lot of solar projects dotted around the state, because they were not handed over to anybody, and there was no provision for their maintenance. I'm very happy that this administration of NDDC is taking care of that once projects are completed, they'll be handed over for maintenance, or they have a maintenance contract, so that those projects is not going to be a wasted money from the government. Thank you, and God bless you.
And that's all on today's episode of NDDC and You. Next week on NDDC and You, we take a closer look at the Commission's rural infrastructure projects. with the commissioning of the ultra-modern NDDC Cross River State Office, road network of 8,137 kilometers in Calabar South, and municipality and flag off of the first phase distribution of handheld tiller machines to farmers. Don't miss it.